You have an EBT card.
Yes, ma'am. I've explained this to you before.
But essentially what you're saying is as long as I'm in school, I shouldn't have to make a payment. Because
No,
you're saying you don't
ma'am,
have, let me finish. All right, Miss Megerly, I'm back up and running. Again, my apologies to you.
So,
All right, and let me look at my notes from when you were here last. So I do have a note in here that you must have called the court last week.
yeah.
And I don't see that you made a payment. So you are on the tow list. Unless I'm missing something.
Oh, last Friday, I couldn't make the court. I had planned to, but I had a final at school. And every time 1 o'clock is when I get back to school from lunch. So it was kind of tricky for me that day. I had planned on making a payment, and then I had called, I believe it was Tuesday or maybe Wednesday, and talked to someone about asking for an extension because I wasn't able to make it last week.
Well, you don't have to come to court to make the payment. You can make you can call the court and make a payment over the phone. So
I understand. You guys are just closed on Wednesdays, and I have school from Monday through Friday.
We're not closed on Wednesdays.
I mean, on the weekends. Sorry.
Right. But I mean, you aren't in class from 7:30 to 4:30 nonstop every day. Are you?
I am. I have school from 8 to 5.
Right. I understand you're at school, but you're not literally in class nonstop 7:30 to 4:30.
I have one 1 hour break, but yes.
Okay. And you can call the court during that 1 hour break. Also, I recall you telling me some time ago you had like Tuesdays off or something.
No, it is distance learning, but we still have to be on school, signed in, almost like Teams, for a full 8 hours that day. And in regards to not being able to make a payment, like I've told you before, I still have not been able to find a job. I've been applying almost every weekend for the past 4 weeks since I spoke to you the first time. And
yeah, and I'm not sure what kind of jobs you're applying for, but there are jobs out there to be had for certain, especially this time of year. And then last time when you made a payment, you were doing some babysitting and whatnot. I mean, there's people looking for dog walkers. There's people looking, there's plenty of things that you can do. So, we're basically in the same boat we were in last time. I need to see you working down this amount. I mean, what you are essentially suggesting is that as long as you're in school, you should have an indefinite, time where you don't have to pay.
No, not at all. I think just under the circumstances and how I came to these tickets from it being from 2023 and just now getting a notice, it has been quite a ride, understanding that I never got a notice before this. Even a few went to collections. I still did never receive a notice. I paid for each of the parking tickets and was overtime. I understand. I take full responsibility for that. But in this situation that I am currently in right now, not having a job, not being able to go out and search a job during normal business hours, it is making it very difficult.
There's Uber, there's Uber Eats, there's all kinds of different things. I do not have
money to spend on gas. I drive to Denver back and forth every single day, 5 days a week. It is very difficult.
I hear you, but it is, other people manage it. I hear you. You keep telling me you can't find a job, and I've walked
into 3 of the grocery stores in this town and handed them a paper resume. I cannot get a call back. I've applied to gas stations, ma'am, and I still have not gotten calls back. I don't understand. I've been to almost every restaurant on Pearl Street walking in. I cannot find a job. I understand that there are ways, but I do not have the time to go out of my way, try to find a babysitting job for someone who does need help watching children during normal business days when people go to work.
No, I understand that, but I wasn't asking you to be somebody's nanny. People go out on Friday night or Saturday night or what have you.
I get back to Boulder at 7 o'clock at night with traffic.
But essentially what you're saying is as long as I'm in school, I shouldn't have to make a payment. Because
No,
you're saying you don't
ma'am,
have, let me finish. Because you're saying I don't have time, I can't do this. As far as I know, people don't take paper resumes anymore. What they want is you to apply online. So that could be why you're not getting a call back.
I do both, miss. I go on Indeed and Glassdoor and every single thing. I apply online, walk in, and hand them a resume. I understand. I understand that I do need to make payments. I have been making payments. It's
been some time since you've made a payment. And when you made a payment last, it was $50. And the payment you made before that your mother made on your behalf was $50. So, what you're asking me is just to give you an extension.
An extension until I can find a decent job that works within my schedule for me to actually find work.
But you've been looking for months and you're saying you can't find anything.
No, I cannot.
So
most people do not hire someone who is only available on the weekends.
I think a lot of places this time of year in particular would want people who work on the weekend because other people don't want to work on the weekends.
It's the only time that you make money. I'm not too sure. It's just I'm kind of out of options here.
And that's certainly true. That's certainly true for restaurants. It's the only, that's when you make the most money. I get that. But if you're talking about a retail job, it doesn't pay any differently on the weekends than it does during the week. So.
Well, like I said, I'm not too sure how to go about this. I have no money, so.
How are you eating every day?
I actually have an EBT card that I had to apply for.
You have an EBT card?
Yes, ma'am. I've explained this to you before, and I find it very insulting.
You have not told me before that you have an EBT card.
I just had to apply for it last week with my friend who goes to CU Denver, who is getting her master's in sociology, who is a social worker. I am in a very, very difficult position. And like I said, you requesting me to go ask help from other people, I feel like it's very unfair for you to think that I actually have that type of support in my life.
The only reason I suggested that was because your mother has made several phone calls to the court on your behalf. So, and you're living with her and she came down here to make a payment for you. So yes, I suggested that because, it seemed like she was supporting you. And it was just a suggestion. Maybe you could do this. So I'm certainly not mandating that that's what you must do, but it would be a way to make a payment if you're able to do that. I mean, clearly your mother's very involved. All right, here's what we're going to do. Without a payment, I'm going to extend your do not tow until after the Christmas holiday. But you need to be very clear that it's not getting extended further beyond that unless and until you make a substantial payment. You've got to pay this off, which means you need to spend the next 3 weeks continuing to look for a job. I don't know, maybe you get some money for Christmas, or whatever holiday you celebrate. Maybe you can pick up some babysitting, maybe you can do some dog walking, whatever. But this just can't go on continuously with you saying, I can't find anything, and I shouldn't have to make a payment because I can't find anything. You understand?
Yes.
What's the date in January, Nick? The first date after the 5th.
First date after the 5th. The 5th is a Monday,
Yes.
so the following Friday would be the 9th.
Okay. So I will extend the do not tow until the 10th. And I will tell you that we have parking add-ons next week. And then we don't have it again until the 9th of January. And I'm sorry you feel like I'm being unfair to you. And I know your mother's made that, basically said that the court's being unfair to you too. And I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry both of you feel that way. But, you know, you were saying you didn't have notice, but you got the tickets. You had notice when you got the tickets. So, and you have, you know, you've told me more than once that you understand you did it and it's your responsibility, which it is. So. But this will get you through the end of the year and through the basically the first week, a little over the first week of the new year. But no further extensions without payment. We've got to get this balance down. Okay. All right. So good luck to you finding a job. I hope you do find one. I mean, for this reason and other reasons, it sounds like, you know, you could use the income generally. But in the meantime, have a nice holiday. We'll see you in the new year. Okay?
Thank you.